Yo, what is up? So in this tutorial, we're gonna go ahead and set up our save system, or we're gonna go ahead and get the initial setup of it. We're gonna add all our variables later. We're just gonna go ahead and get our initial setup of this, so you can kind of get an idea of doing this. But yeah, we're gonna do it with a limited number of save slots. The last 2 days, I was trying to figure out a solid way of making infinite numbers of save slots, but I spent a solid like 12 hours just trial and error testing things and couldn't quite ever get it to fully work. So we're just gonna go with a limited number of save slot system for now, just to keep the ball rolling. And I may test some things later on and see if I can actually get the infinite number of save slot thing to work. But yeah, let's just get started. All right, so first thing we're gonna do, we're gonna hop over here into our blueprints folder. We're gonna make a new folder called Save Game. We're gonna open this guy up. We're gonna go up to Blueprint Class, and we're gonna go down here to the All Classes, and we're gonna search for Save Game. And we're gonna select that. We're gonna call this Save Game _ BP. So we're gonna open this guy up. And basically, what we're going to do with this blueprint, we're not really going to do any code in here, but what we want to do is we just want to add all the variables that we're using in the game. And this is going to store the information and use it to save the information, and then it'll you know, based on what is saved in this blueprint, it will save and load things. So for now, we're just going to add a few variables, and then later on, we're going to, in the next part, we'll go ahead and finish off adding all of our variables. So for this one, all we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding a variable called all the variables we have, and we're going to be adding another one. So for now, we're just going to do is on main menu. Then we're going to add a variable called player location. This is going to be a transform. This will control like where we are in the world. Then we're going to add a current level. This will be an integer because that's what we have it set up as in our player stats component. And then we're going to add runes held. So runes held, which will also be an integer. So as you can see, we added this player location variable, so we need to add that to our stats component. So go to your blueprints, components, player stats component. We're going to add a variable called player location, and we're going to make this a transform, compile, and save. And now what we want to do is we just want to set up our save blueprint. So we're going to go down to third person blueprints, and we're going to do this in the game mode. The third person game mode, we're going to open that, and we're going to open the full blueprint editor. And we're going to right click, and we're going to get a begin play node right here. And we're just going to cast and get our player ref. So cast to third person, cast the BP third person character. We're going to get player character. And then off of here, we're just going to promote to variable. We're going to call this player ref. Like that. Compile and save. And we're going to make a function. We're going to make a function right here called save game. And what we're going to do in this function is kind of save all our information. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to see does save game exist. Like this, and you can see you get the slot name. And that's what'll be controlling what slot we're in. So on the input right here, we're going to add an input called save slot. We're going to make this an integer. And we're just going to pull this back a little bit. And we're going to pull this input into our save slot. Like that. So based on what information we set in this input, that will set our slot. So we're going to pull off of this pin right here. We're going to promote it to a variable, and we're going to call this save slot. Then we're gonna hook this guy up, hook this guy in here, and then hook this guy in here. Then we're gonna add a branch. We're gonna press B on our keyboard and click. And we'll just hook that up. And we want to check, does a save game exist in the slot? Let me pull up my other reference here, just to make this go faster. So, if it doesn't exist, we're going to create a save game object. And then in the save game object, we're going to set our save game BP. And then what we're going to do is save game to slot, save game to slot. And the save game object will be this guy right here. Slot name will be our save slot. And we also want to hook our true up to here, because if it does exist and we save, we still want to save the game. So save game to the true as well. And then we want to load game from slot. Like this, just hook that guy up, because whenever you save, you want to load that information as well. So save that guy right there. And then we want to, we're going to go ahead and cast to save game. Cast to save game BP. We're going to hook this guy up. And we're going to hook this as the object. And then what we want to do here is we want to grab a sequence node. So press S on your keyboard and click. And this is where we're going to be saving all our information. So we're just going to add 2 more pins for now. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull in our player ref. Let me pull up my other reference here. Make this go faster. So what we want to save here, first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull off of this right here, off of our cast to save game. We're going to add a reroute node just to make this a little easier to deal with. I'm going to add a comment to this called save system. Makes it easier to find later on, because we're going to be adding a ton of variables to this throughout the process of the tutorial. Because right now we're adding the variables we have right now, but later on when we, add more variables, you want to, we're going to want to update this. We're going to be adding stuff to this as we go. And yeah, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to pull off of here. We're going to get is on main menu. So when you're saving, you want to set the variable in the save system. So we're going to pull off, go into here, and in the player ref, we're going to get main menu, get main menu component, and we're just going to see is on main menu. So we'll just hook that guy up, and I'm just gonna move this up because we're gonna need some room. So yeah, when you're saving the information, you want to save it to the save game system from the variable that already exists within the game. And then when you load game, you do basically the opposite. You set the information in the game from the save system. So we'll get to that later. For now, we're just going to kind of set this part up. So now, next thing we're going to do is we're going to pull off the save system. We're going to set player location. We're going to set this and plug that in. And here, I'm going to comment this player ref here and just call it player ref. And then what we're going to do off here, we're going to pull off the player ref. We're going to get actor transform. And what this does is it basically just, gets the information about where you exist in the world. So that's what we're going to do there. And then we're going to pull off our save system. And we're going to set current level like this. And we're gonna pull off our player ref, and we're gonna get player stats, get player stats component. I'm just gonna go ahead and comment this guy and call it player stats. And we want to get our current level, or what do we call it? Just level, get level. And we'll hook that guy in. And we'll plug this into the sequence. And then we're gonna set our runes held. Just set runes held. We'll go ahead and plug that guy in. And we're gonna pull off the player stats and get runes held. And we'll plug that guy in. Like that. So, now at the end here, when you're done saving variables, you want to pull off and you want to save game. Whoops, right click, save game to slots. You want to keep this at the end. When you add variables, you want to make sure to move this guy, keep it at the end so it saves all the information. And the save game object is going to be our save system. And the save slot is going to be our save slot, like that. And yeah, that's pretty much the idea of it. So just to give it a rundown, we're going to see if a save game does exist in the slot that we're saving to. And if it doesn't, we're going to create a save game object. If it and then we're going to save game to slot. And if the save game does exist, then we're just going to save game to the save slot. Then we're going to load that slot. Then we're going to cast to the save game BP and then save all of our variables. So, yeah. That is all we're going to do in this one. So, just save. And then, yeah. We're going to call it here for this one. In the next part, we're going to go ahead and set up our data table for our inventory. So that'll be cool. So yeah, if you like the video, hit the like button. If you're new around here, definitely subscribe. If you have any questions, let me know those down in the comments. And I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.